Hello everyone, today we'll be checking out the new cards from Beyond the Brave, releasing in July 18, 2026. Let's go! Red Eyes Black Dragon Exceed. Now, this card must be either fusion summoned or special summoned from your extra deck by attributing one face-up monster on either side of the field during the turn a monster was destroyed by an effect of Dark Time Wizard. You can only special summon Red Eyes Black Dragon Exceed once per turn. This way, no matter which method you use, if this card is special summoned, you can special summon one level 8 monster or lower from your hand or graveyard. And number 2, it is unaffected by your opponent's activated monster and spell effects. Not bad. Activate one of these effects, but you can only use each of these effects of this card's name once per turn. 1 is to add one card that mentions Dark Time Wizard from your deck to your hand except Dark Time Wizard. Also add one Dark Time Wizard from your graveyard to your hand during the end phase of this turn. And then the second one being toss a coin and call it, and if you call it right, destroy as many monsters as your opponent controls as possible, and if you do, inflict battle damage equal to half of its original attack points. If you call it wrong, destroy all of your monsters. That's a gamble. Next, we have Graceful Skull Dice, a quick play spell. Roll one 6-sided dice and apply one of these effects in the sequence for the rest of this turn. 1 being monsters you control mention Dark Time Wizard will gain 200 attack and defense, and your opponent will lose 200 attack and defense. And 2, if your opponent normal or special summons a monster while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card and target one of those monsters. Roll a 6-sided die twice, and if the total is 6 or more, destroy that monster. Up next, we have another quick play spell, Sleeping Scapegoats. 1 is to special summon up to 4 scapegoat tokens in defense position. Then if your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon one Swift Panther Warrior from your deck. Also, for the rest of this turn, these tokens cannot be tributed for tribute summon. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except fusion monsters. If a card you control that mentions Dark Time Wizard would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy one of your tokens and summon this way instead. You can only use the 1 and 2 effects of this card's name once per turn. 1 is to send one card that mentions Dark Time Wizard from your deck to the graveyard except Foolish Grave Robber. Then special summon one monster from either graveyard to your field. Or 2, you can banish this card from your graveyard, set one of those cards to the field. That is a spell and trap in your graveyard that mentions Dark Time Wizard except Foolish Grave Robber, or a spell and trap from your opponent's graveyard. That's not bad. Reversal Box Continuous Trap. Once per turn during your standby phase, roll a 6-sided dice and place counters on this card equal to the result of 6 or max. Once per turn, if your opponent monster attacks during the damage calculation or when a monster effect is activated on your opponent's field, you can remove one counter from your discard. Target one of those monsters, toss a coin and call it. If you call it right, you can special summon one dark monster that mentions Dark Time Wizard from your deck, and if you do, until the end phase, change that targeted monster attack to become 0 and also negate its effects. And we have Swift Panther Warrior. You can use this card's name effect once per turn. During the main phase, quick effect, you can tribute one monster from your hand or field, then activate one of these effects. 1 is to special summon one monster that mentions Dark Time Wizard from your hand or deck, except Swift Panther Warrior. Or 2, send one spell and trap that mentions Dark Time Wizard from your deck to the graveyard, and this card cannot attack unless this card was tributed this turn. It means you have to tribute a card on the field, and then it can attack. Alligator Sword the Dragon Knight. You can use one of these cards' name 1 and 2 effects for each turn. If this card is in your hand, you can reveal one other card in the hand that mentions Dark Time Wizard. special summon this card. 2. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add up to 2 spell or traps with different names, each that mentions Dark Time Wizard from your deck to the hand, and discard 1. Or 3. You can attack directly. Great OTK, not gonna lie. Jinzo, the Energy Shocker. You can only use this card's name's 2 effects once per turn. 1. This card name becomes Jinzo while in the field or graveyard. And 2. If this card is normal or special summon, you can destroy as many traps as your opponent controls as possible. If a card is set unrevealed, then this card gains 300 attack for each card destroyed this way. And 3. Your opponent cannot activate the trap cards or effects while you have another monster in your field or graveyard that mentions Dark Time Wizard. That's nice. Negating for Labyrinth. And to wrap it up, we have Fisherman, Legend of the Sea. You can only use this card's name 1 and 2 effects once per turn. 1. If your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, or when either a monster declares an attack, and Umi or a card that mentions Dark Time Wizard other than Fisherman is on the field, you can special summon this card on your hand. And 2. If this card is special summon, you can target one monster opponent controls and destroy it. Also returns this card in the field to the hand by the end phase of this turn. What do y'all think of these new retrained Joey Wheeler cards? Let me know in the comments and like and subscribe.